What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe, comment down below. Would love to see you engage, and thanks for watching. All right, so social contract element number 3. Children are off limits. No more interfering with the kids at all. At all. And I think this is potentially the most alarming element of our society right now, is how radically our positions on children have changed. Because there is Robbie Starbuck, he made a movie called The War on Children a couple of years ago. It's a great movie. I recommend everyone watch it. So children have come under assault recently, which is, I can't think of anything more shameful that we all need to take responsibility for. Whether, and God help you if you ever harmed a child in any way, but as a culture, we have not protected our children at all. We have not protected our kids, which is why our kids are running around and doing all these crazy things and believing these crazy things, and they're so depressed and anxious and all these things. Jonathan Haidt wrote a great book about this called The Anxious Generation, because we have not protected our children properly. I'm not saying to coddle children, but we need to protect children by being off limits from the malicious forces that are trying to help them. And it is a shameful thing that has gotten to this point that this needs to be a talking point at all. Because children are innocent. They are innocent, and we need to treat them as such. Because if we do not protect our most innocent and sacred part of our society, which is, by the way, our kids, if our kids aren't the most innocent and sacred part of our society, I don't know what is. But if we do not protect those parts of our society, then we have no rules. We can just do whatever we want all the time. So this is a values problem, and we need to value our children far more than we're valuing our children. Because in any values-related discussion, if we claim to hold something as sacred, hold it as high value, and you do nothing to protect it, you do nothing to keep it as elevated, to keep it sanctified, we are negligent as a society, and we should be deeply ashamed of that. We should be deeply ashamed of the way that our children have come under assault, that our kids have come under assault. The fact that we've allowed it to get this far, the fact that this is going on at all, the fact that we have allowed pornography in schools, the fact that pornography is not banned in this country, the fact that we have, again, drag queen story hour, we don't have armed guards at schools. This is bananas for the world that we live in right now. This is crazy. And the fact that we do not have more protection for our kids, that our kids are just going into this world right now, into public schools where they're getting all this nonsense shoved down their throat, where, just give them a phone at 7 years old and have them browse the internet. Crazy. It's just nuts. And it needs to end now. It needs to end yesterday, but it needs to end now. And this is, by the way, another area we cannot compromise on. We cannot, there is no compromise when it comes to our kids, when it comes to children at all. And again, I want to be very careful with how I phrase this. Our kids should not be coddled and sheltered. That is no Oedipal mother syndrome, no you're perfect just the way you are, no X, Y, and Z, whatever. And that is also, I think, the sin of probably the millennial generation in many ways. They were coddled. They were told that they can be, and I've gone to bat defending millennials for a very long time now about how they were told just so many lies about follow your dreams and chase this and participation trophies and everything like that. And look how that turned out. The people, again, the purple hair people that throw a brick through a bake shop, in a black-owned bake shop, probably, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. And so, but they cannot be totally thrown to the wolves either. Like that's both are abusive. Because if you protect your kid from everything and then you throw them out into the world, that's abusive. But if you take an innocent child and you say, hey, here's a phone at 7 years old, here's a public school, teacher take care of you for 8 hours, I'm not going to ask questions, that is throwing them to the wolves in the same type of a way. And either the coddling end or the I'm just not going to care about this end is a horrible, 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 horrible scenario for anyone who really values kids, who really values children. And because children are the future of our country. They are the future of America. And we need to understand that. And we need to drill that into our heads. And we need to take the ownership on as the adults in the room. I don't have kids, but I know a lot of people that have kids. I'm responsible for kids in a lot of settings in my life. And we need to, and I love kids. I want like a million of them, like I said earlier. But if we need to take the responsibility, the posture, the ownership onto our heads as the adults in the room to say that if we are not setting our kids up for success in all areas of life, spiritually, emotionally, physically, whatever, in different scenarios, boys and girls, same for either of them, the question must be raised, and this is the tough question: do we love our kids if we don't do this? Do you love your children if you do not set them up for success by not coddling them and not throwing them to the wolves, by being active, other words, in your child's life? And as a culture, we need to answer this question, because right now I would say that we don't. And it pains me to say that, but I don't think we really love our kids because of how, again, Jesus said, you judge a tree by the fruit it produces. The fruit of our children right now is largely rotted out and poisoned. And that is because of us, because of the adults in the room that we have allowed it to get this far. And so I am militant on this issue. We need to get to a point in society. This is why I want to make this such a big part of our social contract. Any threat that poses a harm to children, social media companies, helicopter parents, whatever the case might be. I want to hit both sides of the argument here. Any threat that poses a harm to kids must be scorned, dealt with, and punished to the highest possible level. We need to protect our kids because there is a war against our kids right now. This is coming down from top down, by the way. Politics, legislation, culture, Hollywood. And what does this look like? We talked about some of it. With the normalization of the sexualization of children. LGBTQ silent P, that's coming, by the way. Just ask the California State Legislature. The use of children for political purposes. Social media stuff. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's abusive. And it needs to stop. Stay away from our kids. Our kids are off limits. If you cross that limit, if you cross that boundary, there will be punishment. And there should be at the government level, there should be at the individual level. If you see it in your life, you need to punish the people that are doing this to kids. Kids are innocent. Kids are the most sacred thing that we have in our society. Our children are the most sacred thing we have in our society. So that is social contract element number 3. Stay away from our kids.